long time no see. I haven't seen you about 3 weeks, but maybe I'm the bad or good lucky. I've been winning since I haven't seen you. Tell me, man, what's been some of the biggest keys to this recent run you guys have been having?
Well, being consistent on all phases of the game. Both sides of the ball and special teams. We've been pretty good. Out of it and understand the urgency of play to play. The last play of the game. You can. It can be for the game, right? But you don't win or lose on the last play. You play a lot of plays in between. So taking those plays that are early in the game, middle of the game, they're just as urgent as the last play is. So being consistent on both sides of the ball and on special teams, all phases like that, have been the biggest thing. I think the focus on that has been good, and we'll need to continue to get better and better at that as the season goes on.
And one of the things we were talking about last time was the quarterback has always been an efficient guy, but even more so throughout the stretch, he's been as efficient as can be. And we were talking about how like the game manager term could be used as like a bad thing. But it seems like for you guys, that's exactly what you want, and it's only a plus that he can give you more than that.
Yeah, I mean, he's done such a great job of basically taking what teams are given. There's times where maybe his yards per game or yards and passing in a game are down a little bit, but it's because they aren't stopping the run. And we can do both. And he's been a great addition to the football team, obviously, but a great leader at the position, and what his ability is as a quarterback and what he's capable of is very high. I mean, the touchdown that he threw to Zoran this weekend, that's an NFL throw. I mean, that's what that was. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was so he's just been one of those very consistent football players for us, and we're blessed to have him.
Absolutely. Just a couple more for me. Before the season, we talked about the goals for this team, and you told me national we will win a national championship. When it comes to this weekend, how are you viewing that game in terms of that scope of wanting to win it all eventually? Yeah,
well, it's every week is a new challenge, and when you lose a couple early like we did, it puts more emphasis in the sense on your opportunities postseason. But realistically, it's another game. We got to go out and play. We got to go 1-0 this week, and keep working towards that goal. This team's capable of doing some special things still. It really is. It's a good football team. We put together a pretty good run here the last 3 weeks, and 4 weeks with a bye. But it's just the next game. But there's no doubt there's more emphasis on it in the sense of big picture because of some early losses. So UTPB is a good football team. They're coming in at I think 6-1 or whatever it is, and but they get to play us too. We get to play them, and it's going to be a really good football game. And I think they've done a really good job of getting that program to where they want it right now. Absolutely.
Just my last one for you. You mentioned the losses earlier in the season. What has been overall the biggest difference in the locker room that you've seen? Obviously, the production is different, but in terms of that locker room, what are some things that you've been seeing?
I think just the focus. I mean, we've always had good focus. We've had good leadership in the locker room. I think just to understand that urgency, kind of what we talked about earlier, that urgency has increased. I think the awareness of the situation where you lose another game, it's going to be hard, to do what you want to do and reach the goals you want to reach. So, I think that part of it plays into it a little bit. But, our guys are playing with great confidence, and they're loose. They practice well. We're getting prepared well. So I think that's the biggest thing you see to it. There's not a panic button, but there's an understanding of the urgency that needs to go into it to reach the goals we want to reach.
Y'all really dominated in that second and third quarter to get that win. Talk about that win and what your team did successfully out on the field.
Yeah, well, we stuck with it, quite frankly. Defensively, we played great. We really did. Our guys, we took the ball away, I think, 4 times. We had 4 interceptions. A lot of it's great coverage, but it's great pressure up front and keeping the quarterback in the pocket as much as we could. I mean, the quarterback was a really good runner with the football too, so we were concerned about keeping him in the pocket. So defensively, we kept him in there, got pressure, and he threw the ball up a few times, and our kids made plays. Offensively, we got going. We did. Off the turnovers, those were huge for us. Defensively, I think Kingsville's one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. Their front 7, and I'll say their back end too. I mean, they have some talented football players. They were physical. We were talking, I think that's probably one of the best D lines I've seen in my years as a head coach at Angelo State. So they've done a really good job there. But our guys stayed focused, stayed locked in, understood that we're not going to score every time we get the ball. Be smart, make the plays we need to make, and go and execute. But I think sometimes there's some belief that at the end of the first quarter, Angelo State should be winning 40-0 after every game, and that's not the case. I mean, there's really good football out there, and we're going to go 3 and out on offense at times. We're going to turn it over once in a while, and I think that understanding how college football works, and then also having a little understanding too of what Angelo State's been over the last few years. It's a 4-quarter game, and Angelo State has done a really good job. We have here of wearing teams down and doing what we do, and being physical on both sides of the ball. So it's kind of funny. I get questions a lot about this drive or that drive of a game, and I'm like, yeah, it was a football game, and they practice too, and they're going to stop us once in a while and do things. But over time and over being consistent, we've done some great things on offense.
You mentioned those 4 interceptions, which that leads me into my next question. Case and Cooper with the interception to set up the touchdown. Each week the defense shows out in completely different ways, it seems like. I just feel like we see completely different things. What's it like having a defense that's so versatile that can set you up for a touchdown or can do things like that?
Yeah, it's huge. Having the takeaways in games and giving you more opportunity. It's kind of like the opposite of Eastern New Mexico, right? You don't get as many opportunities on offense when you face a defense, or their offense like that, because they're going to go for on 4th down, they're going to ball control. Every time you get the ball back and another opportunity to score, and he was close to scoring a couple on his own, with it too. But just having guys like that, Coop's a great example of it, man. He hadn't had I think he had 1 pick going into it, and probably not playing his best ball up to where he was at, and he just turned that around. He played really well, and he was playing good. But he's just having guys like that. He's a senior, and hasn't really jumped out in the making huge plays, but he's been very consistent. And Saturday made some big plays for us and put us in great opportunities. And we've scored off all those turnovers.
And then my last question, homecoming this weekend against UTPB. They're having a strong season, like you said, 6-1, and it really seems like their offense just goes. What is the focus in this week to keep that offense out of the end zone and just really limit their time with the ball?
Yeah, that's part of it. Limit their time with the ball. Keep into the game plan of trying to take the ball away when you can, and if they make a mistake doing that, they do a lot of quarterback run game and do some things, and their quarterback's a very talented football player. He transferred in last spring. So just taking away some of their strengths and what they do. They definitely like to run the football. But again, they got to line up and do it against us, as well. And we got a pretty good group to stop the run. So it's going to be a great football game. They've just made so many great improvements there at UTPB. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be 2 good football teams going at it, and seeing who's a better team, and to move on. So I'm excited for it. Homecoming, it's always exciting here. You worry a little bit about that with all the different things going on at homecoming, but we remind our guys our job for homecoming and our contribution to homecoming is winning a football game. So hopefully we'll go out and get that taken care of.
Coach, Braden Wilcox had arguably the best game of his career.
Yeah.
Had almost 40 yards on the ground. He had over 100 through the air. He was more than half of your passing yards. Just talk about that young man for a minute.
Man, he is just so versatile in what he does, and catches the ball well out of the backfield. When we recruited him, we seriously didn't know exactly what position he was going to be. He played great defense when he was at Cristobal, and we actually looked at him in defense right away. And he just does so many different things. He catches the ball so well, but he's a great running back. He had 150 yards rushing against Eastern, and then turns around and had 100-something receiving, against Kingsville. So rushing yards were hard to come by on Saturday. Again, a really good football team, a really good defense by Kingsville, and so we went to some of the short passing game. If you look at some of the catches he had, it was just basic swings out of the backfield or different things, and those are extensions of running plays. They really are, getting the ball to him fast and in space, and he did some great things, man. But that kid, he's so explosive. He's a dynamite person, having him around and just being in the locker room. He's a lot of fun. He gets along with everybody, and we are so lucky to have him.
And not only Braden, but Casey Phillips is back, obviously, and he got involved a little bit. Just talk about how good it is just having all your running backs healthy.
Well, he was not, he didn't play Saturday out of it, but he's on his way back, I think, in that part of it. But yeah, you add him to the room, that's going right now with Alfred and Jaden. We just some guys that have done some unbelievable things. I mean, it's nice to have that depth and be able to roll through, some guys and keeping them healthy throughout the year. That's the thing, you want to be playing your best at the end, and hopefully, at some point, having all of them in that room healthy and ready to go will be something that'll be special.
And the offense totaled over 300 yards. Of course, that's a great day whenever you do that. But you already talked about how talented the other guys were on the defensive front and whatnot. That might have affected your overall rushing attack. But do you think it also had something to do with the fact that you had short fields and the interceptions?
Yeah, no doubt. When you get the ball at the 8 and 12 and 20 yard line, that shortens the amount of yards you get. But I'll be honest with you, I don't care about those yards as if we're scoring points. Whatever we get a chance to do that, and we'll take as many short fields as we can get in a football game. But yeah, that plays a part of it. But again, hats off to Kingsville defense. They were really good, and they were well coached and had a great plan for us. But at the end of the day, through the third and the fourth quarter, on both sides of the ball, Angelo State wore them out a little bit, and we had opportunities to score touchdowns, and we did that.
Good, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you
Coach.
guys.